Okay, the last part of the boiling and condensation we are discussing about. Condensation is the reverse phenomena of the boiling where saturated vapor. So why we are using the word saturated vapor? So saturation, when do we use the word means? Well, there is a phase change involved. So even in the case of boiling also we have used the word saturation temperature. So that is the temperature where liquid is converting to vapor at a given pressure. Similarly, so for condensation also we are using the word saturated vapor. So that means vapor will undergo the phase change from vapor to liquid by having the contact with the low temperature solid surface, and so by losing the heat to the low temperature solid surface, vapor will be converted to liquid phase, and that flows like a film, liquid condensate film. We are saying it as a condensation. So just the reverse phenomena of the boiling. In the case of boiling, liquid gets converted to vapor. In the case of condensation, vapor gets condensed to liquid. So by making the contact with low temperature surface, so this is what is. So either in the case of boiling or condensation also, there must be a solid surface to be contacted with the. So in the case of in the case of boiling, liquid must be in contact. In the case of condensation, vapor must be in contact basically, and on converting the phase. So in the case of boiling, liquid is converting to vapor. In the case of condensation, vapor is condensing to liquid, and the liquid flows like a film over the surface. That is what is the phenomena we are saying it as condensation. Vapor undergoes the phase change. So by converting its phase from vapor to liquid and flows like a film over the surface. So that is what is condensation we are saying it as. There are two types of condensation: film wise condensation and drop wise condensation. So suppose throughout the surface of the solid, by having contact with the vapor, and vapor, by changing the phase into liquid continuously like a film, like a water film, it flows along the surface. That is what is known as the film wise condensation. Dropwise condensation, when do you observe means at certain locations of the solid surface, by coating with something like greasy or oil like what is that additives. So they only at a specific location of the solid surface only vapor will come in contact. At those specific locations only vapor will condense into liquid more number of times. So the same liquid will come in contact with the solid surface, making contact for more number of times. In the case of film wise condensation, from the top whatever film is formed, that flows continuously along the length of the solid surface. In the case of condensation, what is happening there? At specific locations of the solid surface only, vapor will make the contact, and at remaining locations, it is prevented from the direct contact with the additive that is applied like a grease or oil, so that at those locations there is no direct contact between the vapor. So in that case, at specific locations only vapor will undergo the liquid change, and more number of times that liquid will make the contact with the solid surface. So that is what is the case of dropwise condensation. The difference between film-wise condensation and the dropwise condensation is the continuous contact is established between the solid surface and the vapor, and the vapor will undergo the phase change.
Yeah,
You please can mute your speaker. Yeah, that's what condensation difference is. So when vapor comes in contact with the solid surface of low temperature, then vapor will undergo the phase change, converting into liquid phase. When no surface is getting contaminated with grease or oil, then continuously the entire surface will come in contact with the liquid condensate and flows along the surface. Suppose at specific locations, when you have coated with something like oil or grease, only at specific locations only vapor is converting into vapor liquid phase, and that liquid is randomly makes the contact with the solid surface and flows down. So that is what is known as dropwise. That is, so the condensation is splitted into sort of for number of splitted and allowed to make in contact with more number of times with the solid surface. In the case of film-wise condensation, continuously the condensate flows along the surface. In the case of drop-wise condensation, the film is broken into number of liquid droplets, and those liquid droplets are made to come in contact with more number of times. So that is what is more heat is transferred in the case of drop-wise condensation during condensation process. So that means nearly the amount of heat transfer during the dropwise condensation is 5 to 10 times higher than the heat transfer that has taken place during the film wise condensation process. When compared to the amount of heat lost to the solid surface during the film wise condensation is lesser than that of the amount of heat that has transferred during dropwise condensation. That is roughly 5 to 10 times larger than the amount of heat that has transferred during the film wise condensation. So that is what is, but only under with something controlled conditions only the film wise condensation is possible to be attained over the solid surface. So in all the natural surfaces, as the whole surface is making contact with the vapor, so only film wise condensation in general we will so observe to be formed of. Drop wise condensation to be happened means the surface must be coated with specific, what is that, grease or oil like adhesives or coatings. Therefore only so the vapor is condensing at specific locations. So to attain the drop wise condensation, special measurements must be taken. To happen the film wise condensation, no measurements are required to be taken between the solid surface and the vapor. So that is what is. Film-wise condensation occurs on clean and uncontaminated surfaces. Film-wise condensation, while it is forming at the bottom of the solid surface, the thickness of the film is larger. The thickness of the film is larger. So if you see this formation of liquid film from top to bottom, at the top level the thickness is smaller, at the bottom level the thickness is much higher. So this is what is. So between the solid surface and this line is represented by so liquid vapor interface. Beyond this line, completely vapor phase is in contact, and only between the solid surface and the intersection of the liquid vapor interface, only liquid is occupied, which has condensed into liquid from vapor. This is occupied here. So that is what is. So the velocity of the liquid, if you see over the plate surface and at the intersection, the velocities are zero. Between them only, the velocities keeps on changing like this. Over the intersection surface, that is where the liquid and vapor are in contact, at that level, there is no velocity gradient. There is no velocity gradient. Du by dy equal to 0. So at this level, du by dy equal to 0. This is valid at every section also. Maybe here or maybe here or maybe here. At every section also, the same profile is observed to be taken place. Over the plate surface and at the intersection, there is no change. There is no change of velocity, and velocity change is observed to take place. So between the solid and the intersection locations only, the velocity increases. So here the velocity is this much. At this location, the velocity is this much. At this location, the velocity is even more. And temperature profile also, if you see, the plate has the temperature of Ts, the vapor has the temperature of T saturation. What is the maximum temperature difference existed between plate and the intersection is T saturation minus Ts. So this is what is the temperature gradient existed from plate to the intersection level. That is dt by dy means temperature difference by what is the thickness. What is the thickness? That is at this level y equal to 0, at this level y equal to delta. So then what is the difference of y? Dy equal to delta minus 0, that is delta. So this is what is the delta at this location. T saturation minus Ts is the temperature at this temperature difference at this location by what is dy value, that is delta minus 0 delta. This is what is the temperature gradient. So for the film the temperature gradient is existed, for the film velocity gradient is also existed. For the film, film means that is the liquid film that has formed, liquid film. So that has the both velocity gradient as well as temperature gradient existed. So and while analyzing the laminar flow taken by this of the liquid film. So here, while it is flowing in the layers in the vertical direction, we are assuming the laminar flow to be taken place. When can we expect the laminar flow to be described by this of the film? While flowing over the surface is when the length of the plate is smaller. That means over the small size of the plates, when flow is taking place, condensate flow is taking place, then laminar flow is possible to be taken place. And when the velocities of the flow is lesser, in that case also we can expect the laminar flow to be taken place. So for the film that is flowing, when velocities are too larger or the length of the plate is too longer, in those cases laminar flow will be shifted to turbulent flow, and we assume that laminar flow is taking place so between this of the plate surface and the intersection. For laminar film wise condensation over the vertical plate, we are trying to get at any location also, at any location along the plate we are taking the direction as x, along the plate we are taking the direction of x, perpendicular to the plate we are taking the direction as y. So here at any distance of x, so at the top level x equal to 0, at the bottom level x equal to the total length x equal to L. So between 0 to L at any distance, maybe here or maybe here or at your chosen location, to find out what is the boundary layer thickness. So what is the boundary layer thickness delta? So what is the heat transfer coefficient at this location and what is the average heat transfer coefficient? This is the analysis of film wise condensation for laminar flow that we are saying it as. While doing the analysis, certain assumptions are made. What are the assumptions made here is the plate is maintained at uniform temperature. As long as the plate is receiving the heat from vapor side, temperature doesn't change. What does it mean by at whatever rate from one side it is receiving, to other side it is rejecting also at the same rate, maintaining the temperature constant over the plate surface. For the plate, at whatever rate it is added from one side, at the same rate it also is rejected from the other side, then the temperature maintained over the plate is constant. So that is what is the temperature should not change so over the plate surface as long as condensation is taken place. Condensation flow is laminar we are assuming. When can you assume the flow to be laminar means when the length of the plate is smaller or the velocity of the film is lesser. In those cases only laminar flow is expected for the film that is flowing. The fluid properties are constant. Whatever the film is flowing, so here whatever the film is flowing, so where the film is flowing between the plate and the intersection of the liquid and vapor surface. So here this is what is the film we are saying it as. So whatever I am showing between this is what is the film, liquid film we are saying, which sometimes is also called as condensate film also we are saying it as. Condensate means the portion of vapor converted to liquid and flowing. So this will have the properties doesn't change. The properties doesn't change for this of the liquid film flowing. So that is what is. The properties will be taken at a temperature of film temperature. What is that film temperature is? The average of this plate temperature and the saturation temperature of the vapor, so that has contact with the intersection surface. So the temperature at this level is Ts over the plate. At the intersection the temperature is T saturation. The film will have the properties at film temperature are taken, that is equal to average of Ts and T saturation. The temperature doesn't change. That is also one more assumption we have made here. Fluid temperatures are constant. The shear stress at the liquid vapor interface is negligible. As we have just now seen, the velocity at the intersection level. At this level is at the intersection of the liquid and vapor, where the velocity is found to be zero. Since shear stress since shear stress equal to mu into du by dy, so tau equal to mu into du by dy. When there is no du by dy, so no shear stress will be existed. So that is what is the assumption we are making it here. So the shear stress at the liquid vapor interface is negligible. And even though there is the velocity change between the plate surface, if you see here, velocity over the plate and at the intersection point, the velocities are zero. Between the plate and the intersection, there is a change of velocity. Due to change of velocity, so from the solid to between the intersection, so there is a change of velocity. Over the intersection, there is no change of velocity, and therefore the shear stress is zero. Even though the velocity change is there, that is considered to be very very smaller. Therefore, when there is no velocity change or negligible, acceleration for the flow also is considered to be negligible. That is what we have. Acceleration is nothing but the rate of change of velocity. So velocity change by time, so velocity change is negligible. Therefore acceleration is also negligible for the film. That means it is moving at a very slow manner. The film is flowing over the surface at a slow manner otherwise. That is the meaning. The heat transfer across the condensate layer is taken place purely by conduction. So here, whatever we have mentioned here, the film which has maintained contact between the plate surface and the intersection of the liquid vapor surface. So here, purely within this film, the heat transfer takes place by means of conduction. The film thickness is almost in the range of 1 mm to less than 1 mm otherwise, and therefore within that small thickness, only for explanation sake only I have shown it as a bigger thickness values. Otherwise practically the thickness values lies between maximum of 1 or less than 1 millimeter only. Within that 1 millimeter thickness, so here the heat transfer takes place purely by means of conduction. That is what is the assumption we have made here. Then at any location in the total length of the plate, so here along the length of the plate in x direction, at any location also we are considering some section. So here the section is taken at a distance of x from the top of the plate at a distance of x with a thickness of dx. We have concentrated this region of condensate film. This region of condensate film. For that condensate film, we have considered the momentum equation, x momentum equation, and that equation by solving subjected to these boundary conditions. What are these boundary conditions? At x equal to 0 and at y equal to 0. So here velocity is 0. At y equal to 0 means, what does it mean by along the plate surface? Y is the direction taken perpendicular to the plate. Y equal to 0 means along the plate. Along the plate the velocity is 0. That is what we have taken. Along the plate the velocity is 0. At here at far away, this is from the plate, and at intersection where the velocity the sorry at intersection of the liquid vapor where the distance of y is delta, boundary layer thickness, there is no change of velocity. That is what we have made here. There is no change of velocity at the boundary layer thickness at y equal to delta otherwise. That is the other boundary condition we are considering. And at x equal to 0 delta, at x equal to 0, at x equal to 0, delta equal to 0. At x equal to 0 means this is at the top point. So what is the boundary layer thickness? There is no thickness developed here. So the point is just matched with this of the plate surface. There is no boundary layer development. At x equal to 0, boundary layer thickness is 0. The momentum equation by solving subjected to these boundary conditions. So now at a chosen location, that is at a chosen location means at this location. That means at this location, what is boundary layer thickness? That is equal to delta x, we are saying, that is obtained as, at this location, boundary layer thickness for the film is obtained as this is. This is boundary layer thickness at the chosen location of x equal to this much. So this is already is presented in the data book also. You need not remember. So if they have asked the derivation like this, so you just have to make the assumptions by making the diagrams like this, and you just have to consider the momentum equation. You just have to consider the momentum equation and to be solved subjected to these boundary conditions. Ultimately, you will get the relation for boundary layer thickness at that location as this thing. This relation is already available in the HMT data book. You need not consider or you need not remember at all. So this is what is. After getting the boundary layer thickness at the same location, local heat transfer coefficient to be obtained, that is K by delta. Delta is just now obtained. This is film thermal conductivity or condensate thermal conductivity by boundary layer thickness. So KL by delta by substituting local heat transfer coefficient we have got. This is also again presented in the data book. You need not remember. So then local heat transfer coefficient, after getting it, average heat transfer coefficient is required. Average heat transfer coefficient means at any specific location we are getting the local heat transfer coefficient. From the top of the plate up to that specific location, what is the average heat transfer coefficient? That is equal to 4 by 3 times of local heat transfer coefficient. So that is what is 4 by 3 times of local heat transfer coefficient. This is the heat transfer coefficient at the bottom of the plate. This is the heat transfer coefficient obtained up to the bottom of. This is up to means average. This is at a location of bottom. So this is what is the heat transfer coefficient obtained. Then to get the average heat transfer coefficient, 4 by 3 times of local heat transfer coefficient, we must get it. From here, the average heat transfer coefficient is ultimately is obtained as this thing. Whatever this local heat transfer coefficient is replaced with this 4 by 3 times of local heat transfer coefficient, the average heat transfer coefficient is obtained like this. But so this is theoretically estimated average heat transfer coefficient, but when compared with the experimental value, this is found to be 20 times lesser than that of the experimental value. To be made identical with the experimental value, the 20% excess value is added. So 0.943 is the value obtained from theoretical calculations, but whereas experimentally when compared, this value is found to be lesser than 20%. Therefore 0.943 plus 20% of 943. 20% of 943 if you take it, 0.943 if you take it, then the total value becomes 1.13. Then experimental value and theoretical values are found to be same. So therefore to be identical with the experimental value of average heat transfer coefficient, so then the average heat transfer value, heat transfer coefficient value is ultimately written as this thing. So for substitution into this equation, all liquid properties must be taken at a film temperature. What is that film temperature? Film is lying between solid surface and the intersection. Film is lying between the solid surface and the intersection, and the film temperature is Ts plus T saturation by 2. Ts plus T saturation by 2, that is what is. And the vapor properties are to be taken at T saturation. What are the vapor properties? Here only rho V is vapor property, HFG is the vapor property. These two must be taken at T saturation of vapor, and all other properties must be taken at T film. So these properties are available. So either in the HMT data book for liquid, that is water. So otherwise also for water, from steam tables also the required properties can be taken. Whichever is convenient for you, you can take from there. Suppose when we are using steam as the vapor, or vapor we are using as uh, vapor steam, or steam vapor when we are using, so then either we can use the steam data book steam tables, or for HMT data book we can use and get the properties. Either of the, so data book is convenient for taking the properties for steam. Steam in the vapor form, we can take the properties at saturation. Steam in the liquid form, we take the properties at a film temperature. All are available in the data book. Afterwards, after getting the average heat transfer coefficient HL bar, how do you calculate amount of heat transferred from vapor to solid surface? H bar A. So A means contact area between the vapor and the plate surface, into T saturation minus Ts. T saturation is the vapor temperature minus Ts is the plate temperature. This is the amount of heat lost, so in the form of condensation, during the condensation. Then what is the rate of condensation to be estimated? Since this amount of heat is found out, so while m dot amount of vapor is undergoing the phase change, so then m dot into h of g equal to the estimated amount of convective heat loss from vapor to solid surface. Equating both, m dot is obtained as q by h of g. What is q value we have estimated just now? HL bar into A, T saturation minus Ts by, this is latent heat of condensation we call it as. This is how, so the rate of condensation is estimated. So continuation, let us take a problem and work it out. Dry saturated steam at a pressure of 2.45 bar. Originally the vapor is available at this pressure. Corresponding to that, what is the saturation temperature? That is taken from the steam tables. So based on the saturation pressure tables, knowing the pressure value, what is its saturation temperature, this is taken from the steam tables. So therefore, the vapor is now available at this temperature. Then what is that they have given? The surface of the vertical tube is at 1 meter height. The height of the tube is 1 meter. The tube surface is kept at 117. You see here, the tube surface is at low temperature at 2.45 bar pressure. So the saturation temperature is 127 degrees centigrade, which is taken from the steam tables, and the height of the tube is 1 meter. Estimate the thickness of condensate film, that is boundary layer thickness they are asking, and the local heat transfer coefficient at a distance of 0.2 meters from the top. Even though the total height of the tube is 1 meter, from the top at a distance of, this is x equal to 0.2 meters distance, they are asking you to calculate both the boundary layer thickness. That means, so what is delta at this location, what is h value at that location. Delta at x equal to 0.2 meters is how much, h at x equal to 0.2 meters is how much they are asking you to calculate. So for that, so we have already the relations are available for boundary layer thickness and also for local heat transfer coefficient also. To find out, we have the relations. First we are trying to get the boundary layer thickness. So for boundary layer thickness to be estimated, this is taken from the data book. So this is what is, the relations are already available. So where, so I have taken the relations which I have shown you. This is boundary layer thickness, which I have mentioned, is also presented in the data book also. We can directly take this relation for estimation of, so boundary layer thickness. After getting boundary layer thickness, local heat transfer coefficient, how do you get it? K by the delta x, K by the delta x. So this is all. K is for liquid, mu is for liquid. So this is what is HFG for vapor. This rho is for liquid. All other things are for liquid. The description is also given for right hand side also. So if you have confusion in the equation, so what is this mu L is representing, what is this rho is representing, what is this K is representing, to know it. So you can go through these terminologies given on the right hand side of the, so what is that condensation relations. So what is the amount of heat transfer during the condensation is average heat transfer coefficient into A into, what is this TB means T saturation minus plate temperature Ts. The fluid properties or the film properties must be taken at average temperature, that is T saturation plus T surface by 2, and vapor properties must be taken at T saturation. That is what is the relation. All are available. You need not remember anything. That is what I am telling you. You should have data book. You should have data book. And I don't know how you people have realized. You must take the data book while solving the problems. Otherwise, very difficult to solve them. Okay. So let us continue this problem. So for substitution into this equation, at film temperature, K must be taken. That is what is taken at film temp. Film temperature is T saturation plus Ts by 2, 127 plus 117 by 2 at 122 degrees centigrade. So this is from the steam tables, saturation liquid for tables, or from the HMT data book also for water, saturated water or saturated vapor. The properties are available. For substitution, mu L is required, KL is required, rho L is required, all are required. That is what I have taken, rho L, mu L, KL at film temperature, and HFG and rho V are taken at T saturation. So that is what, T saturation is 127, HFG is taken there, and also rho V is taken there. Rho V equal to 1 by our specific volume. From there I have got this as 1.368 kg per meter cube. Then after getting all the values, I am estimating the boundary layer thickness at a distance of x equal to 0.2 meter. Even though the tube has 1 meter length, from the top they are asking you to calculate at 0.2 meters. On substituting all the values, I have got the boundary layer thickness as you just see, 0.09 millimeters. 1 millimeter thickness itself is too smaller. 0.09 millimeters of film thickness means here. You just see at this location, so the boundary layer thickness value equal to 0.09 millimeters, not the meters, that is. millimeters. 1 millimeters itself is a very small value, but 0.09 means so very smaller value of the film is formed between the tube and the intersection. That is what is. After getting that local heat transfer coefficient, that means at same at x equal to zero point 0.2 meters, how do you get it? Again, either you can take it from the data book. So k by delta, what is k value? I have already available when properties are taken. You see here 687 into 10 power minus 3, otherwise 0.687 watt per meter Kelvin. So that value divided by delta x value, just now I have got 0.9 into 10 power minus 4 meters. Then what is the value I have got? 7633 watt per meter square Kelvin. At a location of x equal to 0.2 meters, the heat transfer coefficient value is 7633. So this is how maximum heat transfers are taken place either during boiling or condensation. So that is, so having maximum heat transfer coefficients while the fluid is undergoing the phase change. So this is what is when the laminar flow is taking place along the plate surface. There is no guarantee that all the times laminar flow is taken place when the length of the plate at the solid surface is too longer, or when the velocities of the film or the condensate film is too larger. In that case, laminar flow will be converted to turbulent flow in the end at some part of the length. So that means when turbulent flow condensation is taken place, and the flow on which the condensation occurs is quite long, or when the velocity is too larger, in that case the flow will be turned towards the turbulent. Turbulent results in higher heat transfer rates. So when turbulence is happening, higher heat transfer rates are expected to be taken place. So not why? Because so here, so between the solid surface and the intersection point, the heat is transferring in the form of conduction by the film. Film means, so that is what is the liquid film. This is what the hatched portion is, liquid film. So that, so within this liquid hatched portion, that is nothing but the film. By means of conduction only the heat transfer takes place, as we have seen that. So the thickness of the film is 0.09 millimeters. Having such a small thickness for this, so through this film, so only by means of conduction the heat transfer taken place. When turbulent is created, so the laminar flow will no more be continued. There also will be random motion of the fluid particles or the film particles are observed. So in that case, eddy formations are also taken place. When eddies are randomly moving, these also will help the more heat transfer to be taken place. So that is why turbulent flow so appears with more amount of heat transfer to be taken place. Reynolds number is the criteria to decide whether the flow is laminar or turbulent over the flat surface. Reynolds number is defined as rho u dh by mu l. So this is what is hydraulic diameter. Hydraulic diameter means 4 times of cross-sectional area by perimeter. This is already given. So when forced convection is discussed, so the estimated value of Reynolds number, if it is found to be less than 1800 over the vertical surfaces, the flow is considered to be laminar. So if the Reynolds number is greater than 1800, the flow over the vertical surface is found to be of turbulent flow. So the same Reynolds number may also be obtained as, so this is after substituting, what is that? Hydraulic diameter equal to 4a by p. Rest of the terms as it is I have kept here. Then what else we are getting? 4a into rho l into um by p into mu l. So this is, what is rho into a into u? What is rho into a into u is mass flow rate. We have already seen in the hydraulic machines or fluid mechanics. So mass flow rate m dot equal to rho a v equal to m dot. On that condition it is written like this. For a vertical tube, so what is a by p ratio in this? For a vertical tube, what is cross sectional area by perimeter? Cross sectional area is pi d into l, perimeter is pi d. Then what is a by p value? That is l. So this is known here. Then Reynolds number, in the place of a by p I am substituting as l, rho l into what is that I have written? Um into a by p place I have written, and as it is I have kept um into rho l, rho l by ul. And we also know that, so the amount of heat loss during condensation equal to HLA into T saturation minus Ts, which also is equated to when there is the rate of condensation as m dot into H of G. Therefore mass flow rate is obtained as this much. So now Reynolds number is written as 4m dot by P into nu L. As we have seen this 4m dot by perimeter times of nu L into that m dot I am replacing the value. So whatever this m dot I have shown, the same I am replacing. Ultimately, effective Reynolds number is obtained as this thing. Effective Reynolds number. If this is found to be of less than 1800, the flow over the flat surface is vertical flat surface is laminar. If this is greater than 1800, if this is greater than 1800, then the flow over the tube surface is turbulent. We say that the flow over the tube surface is turbulent. This is how we will calculate the Reynolds number and decide whether the flow is laminar or turbulent. When the turbulent condensation is taken place, so this is what is the average heat transfer coefficient taken place over the entire length of the plate with the combination of both laminar and turbulent. So this is what is. You see here one more problem by taking, we will check it. A vertical tube of 50 mm diameter. This is the diameter of 50 mm, and the tube has 2 meter length also. 2 meter long, is exposed to a steam of at 1 atmospheric pressure. The outer surface of the tube is maintained at 84 degrees centigrade. So that means the entire of this tube is maintained at 84 degrees centigrade. Since vapor is at 1 atmospheric pressure means, so therefore saturation temperature is 100 degrees centigrade. That is, so then it starts receiving the heat from the vapor side, and the tube surface temperature keeps on increasing. So to keep the temperature constant, internally the water circulation is given at whatever rate. From outside the heat is added, from internally also the water will take away the heat. The surface temperature is maintained constant. Further, the circulating of water is maintained. Then determine the rate of heat transfer and also condensate mass flow rate. M dot is how much, what is Q value taken place. So what is that they are asking you to calculate? So we assume, we don't know basically whether laminar flow is taking place or turbulent flow is taking place. We start with, so assuming the condensate flow is in laminar conditions, then what is the average heat transfer coefficient with the available average heat transfer coefficient relation. So we are taking this average heat transfer coefficient. For substitution into that equation, properties are required. So here HFG and ρV are taken at T saturation as we have seen in the earlier case, and the liquid properties are taken at film temperature. Accordingly, these are taken either from the data book, HMT data book, or steam tables. We have got the HL bar value as 5708 watt per meter square Kelvin. But we are not sure whether the flow initially assumed as laminar or turbulent. So just by estimating the Reynolds number value, Reynolds number relation, just we have seen this. So here into this relation by substituting, if this value is found to be of less than 1800, then laminar flow is taken place. Otherwise, turbulent flow is taken place. After substituting into Reynolds number value, the value estimated is of 661.18, which is less than 1800. Therefore, the initial assumption of laminar flow was correct and all the relations were applicable. So that is what the initial assumption of laminar flow was correct. So whatever we have assumed and calculated. Then they are asking you to calculate what is the heat loss. Heat loss, how do you get it? Average heat transfer coefficient into A into T saturation minus Ts. What is the area value, surface area of the tube? Pi into D. D is 50 centimeters, and length, for unit length they are asking. Therefore, L value they took it as 1. This is what is the heat transfer taken place for every one length of the tube surface by having contact. Since it has 2 meter length, multiplied by 2 times, the heat has transferred to the tube. For every 1 meter length, this much has transferred, 17,932 watts. Then what is rate of condensation? M dot equal to that Q by HFG. Then this value equal to, so 0.0079 kgs per second. Otherwise, when you found that this value is too smaller, then you can convert to into 3600. Then it will be converted to, so per hour 28.6 kg per hour of vapor is condensed into liquid during every 1 hour. So this is what is the case. Next is of, so when flow is happen, this is what is when condensation is taken place on vertical surfaces. So there is no guarantee that all the times the flow is taken place on vertical surface. Sometimes on horizontal surface also the flow may be taken place. So this is what. So the for laminar flow over the horizontal tubes, over one horizontal tube, then the average heat transfer coefficient is obtained like this. If this is not the case, if more horizontal tubes are arranged, so this is what is like array. So one over the other. So if more number of horizontal tubes are arranged, so this is the cross section of one horizontal tube, another cross section of the horizontal tube. Like that, one more tube also may be arranged in the top side like this. So like this, if there are, this is one tube, this is second tube, this is the third tube, like this. If there are one, so first the vapor gets condensed on the topmost tube. From there onwards, continuously vapor falls on the below tubes and flows like this. If there are only two tubes, the vapor that has condensed flows and falls on the second tube. If there is a third tube, again flows on the third tube. If there are the fourth tube, means continuously it flows on the uh, series of tubes that are arranged in the horizontal orientation. For such kind of combination, if n numbers of horizontal tubes are arranged, for such kind of combination, the heat transfer coefficient is obtained. You see here, where n is representing the number of tubes. The relation between this heat transfer coefficient and this heat transfer coefficient, there is no n value here, where n value is taken to be of 1. That means for one horizontal tube, to calculate the heat transfer coefficient, this is what is the relation. For n numbers of tubes, while the heat transfer is taken place, this is the relation taken place. So based on this, let us work out one more problem also. Dry steam at 100 degrees centigrade condenses on the outside surface of the horizontal pipe of diameter 2.5 centimeter. Outside diameter is 2.5 centimeters. The pipe surface is maintained at 84 degrees centigrade. This is maintained at 84 degrees centigrade. So by allowing the cold water to be circulated continuously, determine the rate of formation of condensate for meter length of the pipe. Earlier, for the same uh, conditions, the tube was maintained in the earlier problem also at 84. The vapor is made to come in contact with 100 degrees centigrade. But here, that was considered to be vertical orientation. In this case, it is considered to be horizontal orientation. Other things are same. So the film temperature remains same and the vapor temperature remains same, but the orientation is changed. For one tube that is considered in horizontal direction, the average heat transfer coefficient is calculated using this relation. This is what is, so average heat transfer coefficient for horizontal tube. So that is what is. So for the same horizontal tube, the heat transfer coefficient is directly taken, which is available in the data book, and substituted. The average heat transfer coefficient is calculated as, for horizontal orientation, 10,952. You can see that for the same conditions, when provided as vertical tube, the heat transfer coefficient was something like 5,000 and odd we have got. 5,000 and odd we have got, you see here 5708 for the same 1 meter length, if you see. But whereas the same 1 meter length of the tube, if you place it horizontally, then what is observed here is, so the heat transfer coefficient has almost become doubled. It has become almost become doubled. Therefore, while expecting the maximum condensation, you need to provide the tube orientation in horizontal direction. Then what is the rate of heat transfer per meter length is Hd into pi dl, T saturation minus Ts, and calculated value of heat transfer is how much it is. So this value equal to 13.76 into 10 cube. So this is what is watts per meter. So what they are asking, mass flow rate of condensate, that is m dot value they are asking. This value divided by HFG by taking, what is that we are getting, 6.1 into 10 power minus 3 kg per second, or 21.94 kg per hour. So this is what is the problems we have solved on condensation. So hope you have understood all these. So with this I will be closing. So the condensation part is also completed. Tomorrow's class, so we will straight away start with the heat exchangers. So this is what is, one more unit also is completed, convection along with the boiling and condensation. So having the data book with you and also textbook with you, you can practice more number of problems. If you have any doubts also, so in the successive classes you can ask me the questions also. Otherwise, so here This is how the boiling and condensation, which are considered to be the extension of the convective heat transfer with the involvement of phase change. In the case of boiling, so the liquid is undergoing the vapor state, and in the case of condensation, vapor is undergoing the liquid state. So with the involvement of phase change, more heat transfer rates are expected to be taken place with more heat transfer coefficients. When the liquid or the fluid is not undergoing the phase change means the estimated values of heat transfer coefficients were almost in the range of below hundreds we have got, whereas in the case of boiling or condensation, the estimated values of heat transfer coefficients were in the range of thousands. So that is the difference we can see why people are converting. Well, while our objective is to dissipate more amount of heat means why we are converting the liquid into phase change means this is the advantage. More heat transfers are possible to be transferred when you have converted to phase change. You see here by keeping the horizontal orientation for the tube, more heat transfer rate is expected to be taken place when compared to vertical orientation by providing. So for the same properties that are maintained for the steam and the tube surface, so instead of providing the vertical orientation, by providing the horizontal orientation, the value has become almost doubled. So that is what is. So here all these things are practically are to be what is that very valuable points. So keeping the horizontal orientation for the tube, more heat transfers are expected to be taken place during boiling or condensation instead of keeping in vertical orientations. With this, I will be closing. Hope you have understood, and I'm closing also here. Thank you.